Hello, Digi artists out there. I'm Melanie from U Designs, where I bring you tutorials that give you insights for fast and more effective workflows in creating your designs. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can retouch photos easily and super fast using these new tools inside of Photoshop. So how many of you have wanted to retouch your photos, or have your family or friends asked you to retouch a photo and you're like cringing at the idea because you think it's so technical and so time consuming? So now you can say, bring it on, okay? I can do this, bring it on. So like and share the video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to this channel. Here we are inside of Photoshop, and I'm going to be showing you how to quickly and easily photo retouch someone's face. Using these new content aware healing tools, we're going to be able to work quickly and effectively to get results like this. So this did not take long. You can be able to do something like this in about 10 minutes or less. Show you the breakdown. So let me open the photo retouching group here. The first thing is I duplicated my layer, of course, and then I liquefied. And let me just turn these off. So here we go. So that was liquefy, and then we went to spot healing. And so you can see what the spot healing did. I was able to remove lines with the spot healing, so pretty rad. Also, we have the healing brush tool I used for some shadow work to remove some under eye shadows and other shadows in the image. And then I did some more touching on the nose, and I used the brush to paint some color onto the lips. And then finally I added some blurring to the overall image where it needed it. And then just throwing on some adjustment layers, and you can throw on adjustment layers to your own preferences. So these are just the ones I chose. So again, we have our original layer, and then we have the photo retouching. Okay, so let's dive into it and see how quickly you can do this. We'll start with Liquify. So I duplicated my layer, Command-Control-J, and I'm going to jump up to Filter and select Liquify. A new window opens up. I've already done a tutorial on how to use the face Liquify to sculpt the face. So you can check that video out. So basically, it's very powerful. We can change someone's eyes. We can, make their face skinnier or shorter. We're on our way. We've got Liquify done. Insider tip: when you're photo retouching, turn the brightness of your screen all the way up. It's very important so that you're seeing these colors as they really are, okay? And so the next step we're going to do is the spot healing. So let's get into it. So I'm going to create a new layer in the layers panel, jumping down here, and I have a blank layer here. So with that selected, jump over to the tools panel and select J for the spot healing brush tool. And what I want to do here is kind of analyze my image. What are the spots that I want to remove, and maybe some of the lines as well. So I'm going to go just like that. Make sure you've got sample all layers checked here. So check that. And I'm just going to go in, and don't overdo it. So you really want to just, like I said, she has really good skin already. Watch out that you're not getting decoloration when you're doing this. Get your brush small. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to just get some extra little spots here. Okay, that's okay. Let's use the spot healing tool. You can see now that if I turn that off and on, that's what we just did. Now I'll get this brush really small by hitting the left bracket keys. Come over here, get my brush smaller, and just kind of draw. I'm drawing these lines away. Isn't that amazing? Make sure you're always checking to make sure the color information, the sampling, is not getting too crazy, too much discoloration. You can come back and fix these and be more precise, but this is just a general flow I'm showing you here. Okay, so I keep my hands on the Control Command Z because you kind of have to work and keep zooming in and out. Tip: when you think of photo retouching as being a daunting experience, now I hope that you'll see that it isn't. These newer tools inside of Photoshop really, really, really has made our workflows much faster, much easier, and just like that, you can see. So that was spot healing. Pretty simple, pretty easy, right? So a new layer for the healing brush this time. So you know that the healing brush samples different areas inside of the image. Sample kind of and blend, okay? So that's what we're going to do here. So select the healing brush tool. Notice it's not the spot healing brush. You know you have the healing brush when you can see that it's obviously sampling pixels, okay? Analyze the image. Think about the areas you want to retouch here. So I used the healing brush tool for dark areas to kind of get rid of some of the shadows. So when you're doing this, you want to be sampling areas nearby that have similar color information, similar lighting to that. Well, obviously, like if I want to change this area here, I'll come to the nearest area that looks good and sample, and then I'll keep sampling different areas, not the same area, because then it will look not so natural. Okay, so all right, so here we go. I'm going to hold down Option Alt to sample an area, and I might need my brush to be a little bigger. And make sure that your pixels are looking really blended. Notice that my diffusion is set to 7. I'm just going to speed this process up. So that's it. We have the healing brush tool on its own layer. Okay, so I can come back in here and see, you want to keep checking this out to see how is your healing brush work looking. Spend some more time refining this. So notice I am sampling different areas and I'm making sure that this looks nice and blended. So we're just removing some of the shadows in the photo, okay? All right, so moving on. Keep zooming in and out and turn your layers off and on to see, what fine tuning you have to do. So at this point, take a break, do some jumping jacks, come back to the screen with fresh eyes. We're going to go back to the V key. Always go back to the V key so you don't accidentally stamp and then 2 hours later you're like, where did that spot happen? Okay, big mistake there. Like I said, she has a pretty perfect nose, but you would use this for when someone has bumps and things like that in the nose. The spot healing in this case, and see if I can just kind of spot heal without getting, see how I'm getting some discoloration there? So that's the thing we don't want. So that in that case, you go to use sample, well, maybe we want to bring some light in here. And you can also contour the nose this way. If you want to contour, you can try contouring this way as well. All right, okay. So the problem with the nose here is that I have this shadow under the nose. So what I want to do is try to get rid of that. And I'll try to do that quickly, but this might be the little parts that will be little areas that need some more finesse. Bringing it down, just trying to get rid of some of this shadow here in the nose. So I think that's better. All right, so if I turn that off and on, you can see that I really was able to get rid of a lot of the shadows, and I didn't need to get rid of the freckles and spots like that on the nose, but I just did it. Okay, we're getting to the finish line here. We'll do the blur layer now. I'm going to go around and see where I can soften the image a bit more. So I'm going to go to the tools panel and select the blur tool. I'm going to get a large brush size, and here's my strength value. 75 looks good. I'm also going to say sample all layers. Okay, so make sure you've got that checked. Sample all layers. And then what I'm going to do is sort of look at the image and see where I can possibly give it some softening. So this is basically softening. And I like working this way because it's on its own layer. Let's soften this a bit. So now what I want to do is get my brush really small, and I'm going to soften the eye areas. And I'm just sort of brushing over, the eyelids here, just to soften. And she's not wearing any makeup, which is amazing. It's really beautiful. So let's check out what you can see what we did there in the blur. It's subtle. Let's do the lips now, and we are almost done. So let's go beyond and add some color to the lips now. Okay, pretty easy. So I'm going to create a new layer again. Okay, and this time what I'm going to do is go to the brush tool. For B is for brush. With the brush tool, I can create a soft round brush. So let's hold the Option key, and we'll get this eyedropper and getting us a little closer to the color. So I kind of want like a pinkish tone, so I'll go to pinky area here. All right, so that's looking all right. This is the color I'm going to get. So with the brush tool, I'm going to maybe put the opacity to about 25, something like that. And I'm just going to slightly bring some color into the lips like that. Tip: because we've created all of these on its own layer, we can then go and control their blend modes and their opacities. So the blend mode is basically communicating the layers together, and the opacity is how much are they communicating? Are they communicating a lot or not so much? So that's how you can think of blend modes and opacities. So that's what we do here in this channel, is really give you insider tips for your workflows to be better and faster. So what we can do is go through our blend modes and see which one kind of looks, maybe soft light. All right, soft light looks good. You can also go down to the opacity, go over to opacity. And if I put it to 0, I can control how much that is happening. If I turn all of these off and on, okay, so let's go back to our beginning layer. So there we have it. Let's zoom in a little bit more. So we went from this to that in no time. So now let's add the adjustment layers to bring some color to the skin and brighten the overall image. So first adjustment layer, I'll jump down to adjustment layers, and let's add vibrance. I'm going to increase the vibrance a little bit. I don't want to do it too much so it gets too red. So about 15, and we're almost done. Curves, bring some light in there. Ooh, that's a lot. And come down and make a slight S. And I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so there you have it. Photo retouching in a nutshell. Super fast, super easy. Original image and our photo retouching. Okay, so there you have it. Photo retouching in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Okay, see you in the next video.